I thought as I was driving, I'd share a couple things with you. I'm not sure if I've ever explained why I decided to get this particular motorhome, this particular RV. Initially, I had been looking at the tabs by the little guys. I can't think of the manufacturer off the top of my head. But basically, they were a trailer that you pulled behind a rig. Like they were light enough you could even pull behind like a 4-cylinder. Anyway, at the time I had an Xterra. By the way, an Xterra that was paid off. And I was thinking about doing the tab. A new tab was going to cost me around $20 to $25, depending on the features. I wanted an indoor kitchen, and I wanted the bathroom, and I wanted the Outback version. So it probably was going to be more like the $25,000 department. I looked at those for quite a while. I was even on a waiting list for the new 400 that they eventually came out with. Well, as I was doing my research and started watching like cheap RV living and other people that were coming along or had already done it for a while, one of the things that I was realizing is that maybe I didn't really want a trailer, because I guess I am a little skittish. I'm not necessarily super fearful or anything, but I was starting to think that, okay, well, if I want to live kind of rent-free, I'm going to probably want to do more forest lands, and that's where I like to camp anyway, more away from people. And it just started making sense to me that if I would have a trailer like that, and if something happened in the middle of the day or something, or I'm sorry, the middle of the night, that I would be afraid. And if I was afraid, how do I leave? You know, how do I leave I can't just go. It's not like I can say, hey, wait a minute, Mr. Bad Guy, let me hitch up my trailer, or let me run out of the trailer and go get into my Xterra and run away. Or would you give me 5 minutes so I can hitch up the trailer and get out of here and then you can come back, kind of thing. And I know that I'm sounding silly and I'm being silly when I'm saying this, but I decided to go with a Class B or a Class C and not do a trailer because of that one thing. I thought that if I had a C or a B, if I got scared in the middle of the night, all I have to do is get in to the front seat and drive. Now, of course, I've got to tow a dinghy, so I'm not exactly sure how that's going to look, because chances are I'll keep it hooked up unless I'm going to be someplace for a long time and I'm comfortable. Long time meaning, you know, a week to 2 weeks. Anyway, that was my reason for getting switching from the trailer to the Class C or B. Then my journey, or my search to find the perfect RV for me, was just doing research online. I had in mind a floor plan that had the kitchen in the back, and I had gotten this idea from one of Bob Wells's interviews, where the kitchen was in the back of the rig. The gal was in a Class C and her kitchen was in the back, and I thought, oh, I would just love that, because I felt like I was in a little like a nook. So, you know, my stove and fridge and my little bit of counter and my sink and then my pantry was just kind of in one place. I kind of felt comfortable with that kind of galley style kitchen. And then I wanted the bathroom to be in the back. And then I didn't want my bathroom to be anywhere around my bed, because I tend to smell easily. Very sensitive scent. Very sensitive sense. Does that make sense? Anyway, I was afraid that if I had a bed by the bathroom or next to the bathroom, I would smell things. You know, even if they weren't there, I'd probably smell them. So I didn't like that idea. And then one time I was just doing a search, and I found a floor plan, this particular floor plan, the 5230, and I go, oh, and my criteria, by the way, was 24 foot. I really wanted 24 foot, or 26 is what I was thinking at the time. Now to do it all over again, I probably would have tried to get like a 22 foot or 21, but you know, hindsight's 20/20. Actually, if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably end up with a B+. But they're so expensive, so I don't know. So I saw this particular floor plan. My friend, a friend of mine has a Gulfstream Yellowstone, and hers is a 31 foot. And I camped with her a few times in her motorhome, and I thought, I liked the floor plan. I kind of liked how it was laid out, but hers had a bedroom. And I didn't want the bedroom. I didn't want anything too long. I was kind of freaky in the idea I gotta, you know, drive that and, you know, do 15-point turns in parking lots. Even today, in a 24 foot at Central Market, it was hard to find a spot that I could get in and out of easily. It's a smaller market, a smaller parking area too, although it's, you know, quite a nice size market. It's not as big like a Safeway or a Walmart. Anyway. So I found that I like Linda's floor plan, my friend's floor plan, with the exception of how the bathroom was set up and the bedroom. So I started looking at that particular make, the Gulfstream make, because what I found out about the Gulfstream make is they were made with a steel frame or aluminum frame or something. And that felt, you know, like, oh, well, it's not made from wood, so the chances of something happened, and it got, you know, moisture, and it started getting wet. The wood is going to rot out, where, you know, the metal would be so much more sturdier. So I decided on that make. I was really looking for that make. And then as time rolls on, and I'm watching, now this, you gotta understand this, the plan, from the time I started planning to the time I bought the RV was about a year. I had ideas prior to the year. My ex-husband and I had talked about it. We had owned a couple of RVs, a couple of travel trailers, and a fifth wheel. And so that was, it's not like it was a brand new plan, but it was a plan that was getting tweaked along the way. Now I'm divorced. Now what can I afford? That type of thing. Anyway, so I started searching Gulfstream, and then I found the 5230 model, and I liked this floor plan. And then I saw Camper Van Kevin's BT Cruiser, but he had the 22 footer, but I didn't know that until after I bought my 24 footer. But later I was glad I had the 24 footer, because that was kind of what I was hoping I was going to get. Of course, like I said, now I've changed my thinking altogether. Smaller is better. So I ended up going and I was looking at the Winnebago Spirit, but the bed was next to the bathroom. Didn't like that at all. And I was looking at a Leprechaun or something like that, and one other, I think it was a Thor. And I just decided, you know, when the right one comes, it's going to come. And this particular day, Charla was coming over. We're going to go look at RVs again. It was just something that we like to do. And I ran into the 5230 floor plan again, like I was kind of searching YouTube, and I got to do a 360 in it, you know, on the internet. And I go, you know, I really like this floor plan. You know, I'm not in any hurry. I got another 2 years before I could retire, or a year and a half. I can't remember. See, 17. Yeah, 17, 18. Yeah, about a year and a half. Almost a year and 9 months before I could retire anyway. No hurry, right? And so we go. She picks me up, and we go to the RV lot. And Johnson's RV is in Puyallup, is where it was at the time. Anyway, we go there, and what should be in the parking lot, right in the front row, is this BT Cruiser 5230. And, you know, I'm just biting at the bit to see it. So we walked in, and we looked at it, and it's the right floor plan. Boy, it smelled bad, though. I didn't really want it to be this old. It's a 2003, but it only had 39,000 miles on it. And I thought about it, and We looked around for leaks. We really couldn't find any evidence except for one spot. We talked, we negotiated. I kept saying, hey, okay, well, maybe I'll let my ex-husband come and look at it tomorrow or the next day, and then I'll decide from there. Well, every time I mentioned bringing my ex-husband over to take a look at it, the price dropped. So they wanted $29,900 for this, and I ended up getting it for $22,400. They had knocked off quite a bit, which is kind of funny. Later I'll tell you the rest of the story. So anyway, I buy it, I pick it up, I'm super happy. I get it home, I make appointment with the RV repair place to go completely through it, tell me what's wrong with it. You know, I've got a year and a half basically before I'm going to retire. I need to make sure this thing's going to run, and if I got to fix anything, I got to fix it now, right? Well, so the first time I took it to the RV place, and it costs, by the way, for them to go through it. It costs money for them to go through it, like $240 to go through it. Anyway, so they found that my whole roof, this is a clincher, my whole roof, the old caulking and stuff was all cracked, and it was lifting, thus the problem with the you know, the leak, and or the evidence of a leak. And there was some engine problems. The oldest tire was a 2007. The newest tire was a 2010. I can't remember what all. U-joint, they did a radiator flush. Anyway, long story short, over the next, the roof, by the way, cost me $2,600 to fix. And over the next year and a half, I put money into this, not just on the inside for, you know, decor and aesthetics, basically. I put money into the engine and the exterior. Silly, but hindsight's 2020. I'm surprised how much less I can actually live with than I thought I could in the beginning. You know, I had to have this book and that book, and you know, I actually still have three Kindles in this rig right now. I've got 3 Kindles. I got the big Kindle Fire, so I can watch movies on it, but I usually watch it on my laptop. I've got the Paperwhite, and then I've got a small Kindle Fire. I know, huh? I have about a half a dozen books. No, maybe about a dozen books. I've gotten rid of all my cookbooks now. And I still have more shit to get rid of. It's like my friend Charlotte said, you don't need 3 or 6 shampoos anymore. All you need is 1. You know, I used to have 3 or 6 shampoos because my hair doesn't always like the same shampoo, or it wants to smell different, right? I don't need all this makeup. You know, I don't need all this makeup. I need, you know, like 10 pieces of makeup, and then I don't even use that, you know, hardly. And that I've managed to scale down, but I've never been much of a makeup person, especially the last 20 years, because who really cares? Especially when you go to work in the dark, and you work 12 hours, and by the time you go there, even if you did your makeup, you look like crap later anyway. Anyway, that's my feeling on it. So that's how I came about getting this instead of something else. And I sometimes wish I just stuck with my original plan and got the tab, because number 1, it was super small. Number 2, my car was paid off, and that would have pulled it fine. It was I could pull 5,000. I think the tab was only like 2,000 weight, and I wouldn't have had a car payment. Like right now, I got a car payment with a Jeep, and I got a car payment with the motorhome. So I'd be ahead as far as money goes, and not having as much debt. I don't like to be in as much debt as I am right now, and I didn't intend to retire being in this much debt, but I didn't want to stay at work either. So, you know, I kind of threw caution to the wind and did it anyway. And I'm not regretful. At least I'm not regretful yet. I hope I'm never regretful, but this is time for me. And which brings me on to another subject. I'm learning to enjoy the journey and enjoy the ride, so to speak, because I guess you know, for many years all I did was hurry to one place and to another. I hurried to work, I hurried home, you know, I hurried to go pick up kids, or I hurried to get them to a function, or I hurried to the airport to pick up somebody or get there myself, always hurrying. Now I actually, leaving at 1:30 today when planning on leaving at 10, not a huge deal. It's okay, not a huge deal. I would have liked to have left at 10, but I didn't. But I don't feel rushed about, you know, because I didn't leave at 10. So, oh, anyway, that's all I'm gonna yak about at the moment. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. So I'm on the tribal reservation now, on the Koyu tribal reservation. I just passed Second Beach and getting ready to find my spot here. I know where I'm going to go, so I'm going to go ahead and park first, and then I'll go check in second. But I wanted you to see this as I pulled up. Absolutely gorgeous places. I get to walk the beach tonight, you know, and so does Riggs. We get to walk the beach tonight. Wow, I don't think I ever recall seeing this many people here. Oh my gosh. Many RVs here, I mean. Last time I was here, there were surfers, which was kind of cool.